Yo, everybody, welcome back to The Honest Truth. Truth Seekers live in the building. It's so good to have y'all back. How are you doing today? I might look a little orange, but I think the color for the neon lights looks kind of cool. Check it out. You know who we're talking about. He's actually streaming live right now. Should we take a listen? That's right. Donovan Sharpe is streaming live right now. Make sure you like the video on your way in. Let's talk about Donovan Sharpe. Why am I talking about Donovan Sharpe? Well, things are changing. Things change so quickly, so rapidly. It's very interesting.
And it's somewhere else. Just think about every time you should have worked out when you didn't. Think about the last time you said, you know what, I'm not going to have that extra piece of chocolate cake when you did. Think about the many, many times you were going to sign up for the gym but didn't. Think about that. This is what happens. When you are not in good shape, your man is going to have a wandering eye. That's all there is to it.
So that's Donovan Sharpe and his takes, and that's the typical takes that Donovan Sharpe has been doing for the past, I don't even know how many years now. He's been going at this manosphere, red pill content since, 2008, 2009, before YouTube was even really popping like that. Donovan Sharpe has been on the scene, right? Also, I decided to leave the background of the Just Pearly thing is because him and Donovan, sorry, Pearly. She and Donovan Sharpe, Jesus Christ, let me go ahead and no, I did not mean to say that. She and Donovan are extremely close, right? Now, we're not going to get as much into the racial aspect of the whiteness today. We're going to keep it on black men, right? Because Donovan Sharpe, after you hear that message right there, just know that he said some of the most inflammatory, wild, literally on air one time he said that he would knock a woman's teeth out if she disrespected him in a certain way. So this guy is about as anti-woman as you can be. He is the most, he's got a long rap sheet. He's done a lot of stuff, right? And I'm not trying to hold anybody's past against them or anything like that, but he has a couple of interesting takes that he recently just did, and one of those includes a titled video, say why most black men, get this, why most black men like Obsidian, he tagged Obsidian in this, are broke and don't succeed in America. This is the main attraction. This is why we're here today, folks. Let's check this out, figure out what Donovan Sharpe has to say or what he thinks about this. He's still shooting his videos in 720p, so we got to, work with that. Sorry about that. We're going to go ahead and make it dual screen so it looks a little crispier for you.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to another edition of Ask Donovan.
Ask Donovan.
Anonymous in Tennessee who wants to know how to increase his wealth, even though he can't afford to move out of his mama's place.
Hey, what's up, Donovan? I'm from Tennessee, and I'm on here.
Now look at this. Already Donovan has at the bottom left that this is a Pookie. Let me go ahead and mute this and keep this playing. At the bottom left, the caller's name is Pookie, and it says his mama's house. All right? You can see that on the screen right now. Let's listen in.
Wealth when there's only certain jobs in that particular location. And he can't even afford to move. What's up?
Thanks for the question, caller. And before I answer your question, I want you to understand that I'm not trying to be mean-spirited or make light of your situation. But I am going to be direct, and I'm not going to pull any punches here. You are, after all, a man, and constructive criticism that is genuinely meant to help you and men like you should not cause long-term adverse reactions to this. But if it does, then that's a you problem. Remember, you called and asked me for advice. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. I'm going to give it to you straight with no chaser. And I'm going to warn you up front, caller, this is probably going to hurt your feelings, and it's probably going to piss you and a lot of other black men off. But believe it or not, that is a good thing. This means that I've hit a nerve, which is the only way a man in your situation is ever going to be motivated to change anything. This caller is a microcosm of why most black men in America do not succeed. But before I answer his question and discuss this any further.
So let's go ahead and take a pause right here before we get to it. Donovan sells these books and these ebooks and everything like that. Admittedly, already off the bat, Donovan Sharpe is saying huge generalizations that we know are factual about black men in America, which is why we are in the position that we are right now. We're at the very bottom, right? And so he admits that, right? He admits that going into it. So I need you to understand that this entire concept of the gender war already is so flawed from both perspectives because both content creator sides only push one certain narrative when they both know the reality of the situation. There's major flaws on both sides. However, once again, still as the leaders, we're going to go ahead and have to give the L as far as leadership goes to the men in the community. Let's continue.
Question here. I'm going to start off by saying, caller, that you appear to represent everything about why a lot of black men in America do not succeed. Number one, black men don't appear to understand that you cannot increase wealth if you have no wealth.
Let me tell you a story. I was on a panel 3 days ago. No, about 4. What was that when I was yelling in the middle of the night, babe? How long was that? About a week? So about 5 days ago, I was on a panel with some Negroids, right? Now, I already should have known that this was going to be, a waste of time. So I was on the panel with these niggas, man, and I was talking and explaining, the gotserum.com, got a business, yada, yada, yada. And these niggas are on the panel trying to explain micro and macroeconomics to me as if I'm not the one that, as if I'm the one that didn't take micro and macroeconomics and did the best out of any of my college classes in economics. So these dudes start trying to explain micro and macroeconomics and why these and businesses, there's all this other stuff. They're just shitting on the business, right? And it became so evidently clear to me because the issue was some of these brothers were the educated quote unquote brothers too, right? So one of the guys on there, he was trying to catch me slipping, right? He was like, well, you got one of these? Do you actually have a business license, bro? Do you have a business license? Black men are so competitive, with each other trying to show out. This is why we don't ever build anything. I went to this platform, right? These niggas, I went to this black platform to try and explain this takeoff and offset situation, this Migos situation, right? I'm trying to get these guys to understand the problem isn't white men, isn't this, isn't slave, isn't that. It's just that black men don't unify ever. In the past 1,000 years, which is why we are where we are today and why we are where we always have been. Because for whatever reason, black men just can't get their shit together, right? Together. So it's a double entendre, that word. They can't get it together. You get it? So I start saying all this, saying all that. Everybody's listening, right? Until you say one thing that one of the niggas on the panel doesn't like. And then all of a sudden I became an Uncle Tom. I became a coon. I became this. I became that. Now if you've been watching my channel for a good amount of time, know my personality. You know my character. You know what type of person that I am. I'm a pretty unselfish person for the most part. But I've come to realize that when you're unselfish around niggas will take every single last dime from you until you are dry. Pause. Major pause for that. Right? This is something that we talked about a lot in the community. It's the starvation mindset, right? Or the scarcity mindset. Since there's already 2% of the wealth that black people own collectively in America, the scarcity mindset limits us on our actual relationships that we're able to build from a humanitarian standpoint. Now, that's a different type of conversation altogether. Let's just go ahead and get right back to the basics, right? Niggas don't even like niggas. This is why you can't smile at niggas in the streets, because all niggas are broke. You can't be happy. Niggas aren't happy. You understand what I mean? They're not happy with dating. They're not happy with living. They're not happy with anything. They complain about the U.S., but they don't move. They complain about now they're complaining about other countries, right? They're complaining that Colombia, they're starting to get beat over the head. We're going to talk about the passport bros coming up in here in a little bit, because the passport bros are literally getting murdered right now. That's right. No, we talked about the scopamine. You heard about all that other different type of stuff. No, passport bros are getting murdered right now. You're right. Just stay tuned. I have the stories. Yo, it is going down. Everything that I said is coming to fruition. Guys are going to start, content creators who've been bashing on women consistently are going to start holding men accountable right now. Right? You know why? Because women are starting to hold women accountable. That's why Just Pearly Things, as we see right here, is so popular.
I know this isn't what you meant, but you said it. And as a man, you need to be very, very careful about the things that you say. And what you said makes zero sense at all. Because
now, this message years ago would have gotten Donovan Sharpe canceled by all of his viewers. If he would have said years ago while he was bashing women, Tommy Soda, all these guys, if you would have started to out and speak truth to these dudes, you would have lost your platform, because that wasn't the movement of YouTube back then, right? Now that things have changed a little bit, Donovan's views have dropped pretty considerably, and everything's been happening with his family, and he's gotten literally ousted, or he's been betrayed by the same group of guys that helped build him up. Quite literally, if you type his name in YouTube, you can see all kinds of crazy crap about him. These dudes are hella disrespectful to him, right? Now he's in a position to where he has the ability, to start holding men accountable now, right? Because he's not being held by the almighty dollar of this gender war content creator's plan, right?
Because you cannot increase wealth you do not have. This is a huge reason why so many black men don't succeed. We're trying to build onto something we don't have yet. We want to buy the $8,000 rims before we buy the car. We want to buy the 82-inch flat screen TV before we buy the house.
Now, let me say something. I got a message that we just got a super chat, so thank you. Let me say something. I went on to explain the business that I was starting up, and obviously my business isn't that big or that large, right? Irrespective of exactly how much money my business was bringing in, niggas were waiting at the grips to try and take every single jab that they could take at this business. They were waiting like some fucking hyenas to try and stab and pick apart any credibility, any ounce of dignity that I was trying to instill in the conversation to rectify me or to validate me as far as where I'm speaking from in a general idea of where we are collectively as black brethren. We call each other brothers. Literally the most connective form of relationship is what black men call each other, but we treat each other like utter shit. We treat each other worse than the rest of the world treats their own people, right? Let me look at this super chat really quickly here. I'm not in the studio right now, so I'm gonna go to the super chat. Thank you so much to people who are super chatting and contributing to the channel. Let's go ahead and get down to that. Both online. Oh my God, M87 the Great. M87 the Great. Jeez. M87. Man, it's good to see you back in the building, M87. It's really good to see you back in the building. M87 the Great just dropped $100 super chat bomb. I tell you what, that is really an honor, bro. I appreciate that, M87. He says was supposed to do this a while ago, just supporting black businesses. We're going to need to chop it up soon. Absolutely, man. TheHonestTruthYT@gmail.com. We definitely need to chop it up. I'm seeing a new direction of where things are moving, man. So the numbers are getting ready to definitely grow here. YouTube's pushing the shorts algorithm quite viciously, so the videos that we did shorts with Pearl and, I did a couple of those. I'm sorry, we didn't do these shorts with Pearl. We did a couple of the weight videos as the shorts, and I think one of them got a couple thousand views pretty quick. So we're going to start focusing on a lot of shorts going here on forward. We'll still have the lives, but you'll see a lot more short form content because it drives numbers. So give me an email, M87, if you got something going on, man, and we can talk for sure. It'd be an honor to get you intertwined on this channel. They were trying to take away any ounce of dignity I had on that thing. And so eventually they were like, okay, well, what are you doing for the community then, right? What are you doing for the community then, right? What are you doing then, bruh? Right? Because my point was that it's hard to get black men together to start a business. And let me side note and derail right here, right? I've been doing some side ventures, trying to build up some things, and I've been kind of in the music realm again, mixing, mastering, doing some things for artists and things of that nature. And I've talked to about 3 artists in the past week so far, right? They're all black. Admittedly, one of them is a lady. And so the first studio session, I'm over there, and I want them to hear the product that I'm going to be able to give them, right? Because I said, well, you know what? If there's any way I can make money with some niggas, it's with music. I said, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to do exactly what I know works. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I said, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the trap. And that's what I did, quite literally. Not really, but it feels like it sometimes when you're in a room with a bunch of niggas. It feels like a trap, right? When you're in a room with a bunch with that element, that element. And so, but I was there, right, doing this. So the end of the session came up. Everything's going good. Everybody's all hunky-dory. It's like four people in the room. 4 people. So I said, hey, it's just going to be $25. All of a sudden, the person I was recording just froze for a second and was like, man, I really don't have it. I really don't have it like that. And they kind of offered like another ulterior method to pay, but I was like, yo, I'm trying to get this thing going right now on an actual business type front, right? On an actual business type front. And so I said, okay, don't worry about it then. Don't worry. I'm used to this. Why don't you just get me on the back end, right? I'm going to do this one for you, let you hear what it sounds like. You can kind of promote me a little bit and get me in the door with a lot of other artists and stuff like that. So, cool. Agreed. Right then and there, homegirl on the couch pulls out like $75 and we're like, man, we're about to go buy some drinks. We're about to go buy some drinks. And everybody was like, hell yeah. Say, you think you can get that track over to us so we can go spin it on the road? So I said, okay. She pulls out $75. Nobody thinks in the room to, hey, maybe we could take out $25 and give to the engineer who's responsible for us being able to turn up that night, who's responsible for us to make us feeling like rock stars that night. Nobody. It's the thought that 4 black, 3 dudes, 1 woman couldn't come together to even give $10. But they were all ready to get down to the liquor store to go buy some drink to go pair with the smoke so they can go jam to the new song that their engineer did for free, right? So the entire concept. On the offhand, when you try to support black businesses, a lot of the time, you don't get the same professionalism, right? So interacting on both sides of black businesses is very difficult when you're dealing primarily with black people. This is why a lot of business owners don't even want you to know it's a black business, to be honest with you. They don't want people to know it's a black business because with that negative possible it's just a slight, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have an influx of support from your own people, because if that was the case, then we wouldn't be in the position that we're in now. So what exactly are we promoting the idea of black business for? Or who are we promoting that to? It's an interesting concept. It's very difficult to get a black business started amongst black people. This is why we don't own any businesses. This is why you can go into a panel trying to promote a business and trying to prove a point of somewhat legitimacy, and niggas will literally poke holes in your story until they'll poke holes in your ship until you drown. The same thing that they do in a lot of relationships, right? And I get that this happens both with men and women because of the scarcity mindset. But once again, we're always going to hold more accountability to the men. Let's go back to Donovan. Let's go back to Donovan here and listen to what he has to say. We're only 2 minutes in. This is very interesting, man.
Gentlemen, we need to get our priorities in line, and we need to understand that in order to build onto something, we must first have that something. Number 2, you said, quote, when there's only certain jobs in that particular location. This is another problem with us, man. Black men, we got to do better than this. You cannot build, nor can you increase wealth at a job. Hell, you can barely build wealth with a career. So your mindset is that you're looking to build and increase wealth working for someone else, and that ain't happening. Too many of us brothers out here have zero clue that if you work a job, your job will see to it that you make them wealthy before you can make yourself wealthy, if ever. And there's no way that's happening. And to be quite frank, that's a damn good business model, right? I mean, what kind of business would thrive if its employees built wealth before the boss?
Now, let's talk about this for a second. This is interesting because there's some truths to this, but obviously you have to have a job at some point most of your time in your life unless you're able to make a business. Most people in 2022 aren't going to have brick and mortar businesses. It's moving to the age of digital creation and content online, monetizing oneself, digitizing oneself or one's image, one's business online. And so right now there's a generational loss or a generational gap that's happening between, quite frankly, our parents and us. So the people that Donovan Sharpe are speaking to right now might be a little late on this message, right? But the concept is still fundamentally flawed and true in a lot of ways. Where is it true? Well, yeah, working a job in 2022 might not necessarily build wealth unless you're at some kind of master or PhD, acquired job facility where you went to college, got a master's, or you got a PhD. In 2022, you have to have multiple sources of income for the most part. And quite frankly, putting your 100% complete trust in another person's stroke of the pen might not be the best financial choice for you. So I understand that. I've lived that. The best job I ever had in my life. I was fired by a black man, and I knew that I'd be fired. It was just a matter of time, which is why I chose to do other things with my life as well. Having said that, having a job is still extremely crucial, and I worked for a very, very, very long time. I've worked many years in many horrible, horrible, horrible jobs, from Taco Bell to cleaning somebody's personal sewer and doing sewer jobs for $25 to $50 a day off of Craigslist while living in my car. I've woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning for years on end to get rides with other people in other people's cars, to temp agency jobs. I've done a lot of stuff. So I get that you do need money to survive. However, I also do understand that none of those jobs would have been able to provide or afford me the lifestyle that I wanted to have personally for myself, meaning, well, I want to fly to Dubai whenever I want to. I want to fly to the Swiss Alps if I want to. I want to fly there tomorrow if I want to, and I can't do that right now, but I also understand that for the most part, I wouldn't be able to do that with the traditional type of lifestyle. That requires sacrifice. That requires grinding, a lot of hard work, a lot of patience, and guess what? You might fail, and you got to be okay with failing. You got to be okay with accepting that as a man or a woman, right? The reality of the situation is that it's a grind. It's an absolute grind. It is an absolute grind, and there's no way around it now in 2022. Things are expensive. You're gonna be out there. Things are cutthroat. People are cutthroat, and as black people, we don't have a community full of others who are readily willing and ready to invest in seeing somebody else win. It's not like other communities like the Asians who will invest in each other and they make sure to reinvest in each other, because once again, we have the scarcity mindset. We got to take for ourselves, our families. We got to protect our own loved ones, and there's not that many resources in the 2% of the wealth, the 2 to 3% of the wealth that we control in America for us to be judicious in our feelings of being kind to everybody that we see in these streets. Not to mention, half of the time that you grow up in these ghettos in these black areas, you're just trying to survive, not even form healthy relationships, healthy psychological connections. You're stunted emotionally. You're stunted mentally. There's no, right? There's no rounding of one person's character or persona in these environments. And we talk about, and we liken these guys like Donovan Sharpe and Tommy Sotomayor, who say just horrific things to and about black women, pearly things, and all these guys that say horrific things about black women and about people in general when they grow up in these horrific war-torn environments, turning out to be people who might not be the soft dandelions on the outside, right? Well, it's that same fundamental concept with men. The guys aren't growing up as men, and so now they're starting to face the problems that maybe the generation before didn't, or the generation before them, or maybe the guys before them just knew how to handle better because they had fathers, they had men in the community. There was a community to actually dive into, even amongst racism before segregation. There was a black community. Yes, Black Wall Street. Let's go ahead and give Black Wall Street a bomb, right? There was a community for you to plug into. Ain't no black community now. We are out here on our own. Unless you find a good group of people, and that's very hard to do. Find a good group of upstanding, conservative, family-oriented, everybody's doing okay, people have jobs, or at least are building careers for themselves. And when we see those types of couples, we're like, oh man, put them on the big screen because they're doing their thing. We don't see black married couples that are actually staying faithfully married, having kids, not cheating on each other, doing this, doing that. It's so much of an enigma that when we see it, we're like, please don't break up. We need y'all. Please don't do it. Right? So the argument is so flawed fundamentally for this entire gender war agenda. But once again, it pays very well to ish on women, especially black women. However, since Donovan isn't being paid very well, and let's go ahead and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Since he's not being paid very well anymore to ish on black women, now 7.2 views, 1.5K views, 1.4K views on that one right there. Let's look at some other videos. 2,000 views, 1.9K views. He's talking about racist Karens. Lizzo, 4,000 views. 3,000 views, right? Keep in mind, Donovan Sharpe has 158,000 subscribers. And if you want to know where he was or where he used to be in the past, let's go ahead and click playlist. I'll show you his numbers from what he used to do. All right. Let's go ahead and let's see. Throwback clips, TSR live episodes. We'll have to go to the old playlist. The best of TSR. Let's try this one out. All right. Well, his numbers have been down for a long time, actually. I'm looking at this. There's only 3.2K views. He's not making any money on AdSense. Any money on AdSense. Remember what I said about him being betrayed by his brothers? Well, if we type in Donovan Sharpe, this is a lot of the stuff that you'll see pop up. Proof Donovan Sharpe is a fraud, being secretly married to a 46-year-old single mom. Sneeko disrespects people. Then there's more clips of Donovan Sharpe. YouTube channels take down their fake alpha idol, Donovan Sharpe. Just a bunch of childish stuff, to be honest with you, from a group of guys who are in the 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, it's just crazy. Donovan Sharpe's been passed up, all right? That's what's happened. He's been left behind by the same group of guys, right? But we know how that happens. We knew how that happened. And I'll be quite frank and honest with you. You want to know what happened to Donovan Sharpe when his exposés popped up? You want to know what happened to him? He thought black men would have his back. So this video that was done on him was done by a white man. Okay? This expose video that was
David,
done,
that doesn't make you a bad
was done by a white guy that he was really close to, right? And unfortunately for Donovan, and which is why he's talking about the racist things that he talks about right now, he stuck up a lot for this white dude that you see in this picture right now. And I'm not trying to make this a race issue, but there is some race issue to this. I don't know what happened or why this guy really took a bad angle on Donovan, but this dude here just outed him on a level that I haven't seen before on YouTube. I mean, I can't disrespect on a completely different level. Like, golly, it seemed like it was straight up racist in my opinion. You know, I'm not gonna even front. It seemed like it was racism. He's making the video with the with the "Make America Great" hat on again type of stuff. I mean, Jesus, you know, I'm not saying that there are some racist white dudes. I'm not saying that. I still believe in Trump because Trump's not racist, all right? I'm not saying that they're not. But Donovan thought that his brothers were going to be able to back him up and that they were still going to support him. But guess what? They all left. They all left. Donovan was getting 50 to 100K views on each episode that he did, just like the Fresh and Fit guys. He was doing really well. But he saw that he didn't have a community to fall back on when one side of the manosphere decided to out him for being a quote-unquote fake. Now, do I think that Anthony Dream Johnson is a complete outright racist, like just completely hates black people? No, I don't think that dude with the red hat on is a complete outright racist. Do I think that in this case that he definitely didn't see Donovan as maybe his immediate contemporary, whatever you want to take that as? Absolutely. Once again, this video shows Donovan is showing a lot of his personal life, and I'm not even trying to get into all of that, but he realized, and let's go ahead and stick to something right here. On the screen right here is him and Kevin Samuels on the right-hand side. You don't know this, but Donovan Sharpe also had problems with Kevin Samuels as well. Well, it's another instance of black men not sticking together. What happened? I'll give you the 30-minute synopsis. Donovan Sharpe was working with Kevin Samuels in the very beginning, one of the few content creators, he, Angry Man, and a few other dudes. Did you see any of them working with Kevin Samuels once Kevin Samuels blew up? Well, I didn't see any of them working with Kevin Samuels when Kevin Samuels blew up. Kevin Samuels left the hood, you see? Same thing we joke about. He left the community when he got his money. Same thing that we all do in the black community. We're not trying to stay around degenerates. So we leave the black community and move to the same area that a lot of people seem to think that is full of nothing but racism. Well, we moved to that area. But let's listen to what Donovan had to say about what happened with him and Kevin.
He said, Donovan, what the fuck? I was like, what are you talking about? Why are you reopening old wounds and da-da-da-da-da-da? We had a shouting match. And in the end, Kevin says, Donovan, I can't swim with you anymore. He said this to me. He said, I can't swim with you anymore. He said, we're still friends. These are...
Looks like he's getting emotional. Let me go ahead and pause right here. Life expectancy average for a black man, somewhere in the 60s. So keep that in mind, guys. I was looking at a video of Tommy Sotomayor, and he doesn't look too good. We're going to be talking about that in probably the next live stream. Tommy's not looking so good. He's been banned off of every platform. As a matter of fact, Tommy Sotomayor was doing a live stream that got cut while live on YouTube. About 33 minutes into it, he was talking. YouTube cut him right there. So he's on Instagram now talking about things and, you know, spitting the same stuff that he always spits about black women. I was listening to some of these things that Tommy says. Man, yo, whoo. I don't know how Tommy made it as long as he did. Man, he said some horrible things he said some horrible things, period. He said some horrible things about niggas, too. I'll be honest with you. Some bad things. So we're going to be talking about Tommy Sotomayor dying alone in the very near future because I don't know what's going on, but something's going on.
And it sucks that I have to admit this. But Kevin's last words to me were, we're still friends, but for me, no mas. And he hung up the phone. That's the last time I ever talked to Kevin Samuels. And I know I told guys I know I told guys, and listen, I lied to you guys. I did. The reason I lied to you guys is because I didn't want anybody to speak poorly about Kevin. Yeah, there were grumblings of this and that, but, you know, I told you guys that Kevin kept me in the loop and that Kevin didn't do any of that stuff, man. Kevin didn't do any of that stuff. As soon as Kevin hit 150,000 subscribers, he never really had anything to do with me again. Not on the air anyway. Right? The last time I had him on the air, I think he had 150-something thousand subscribers. He never came on the show again. He never had me on the show again. He never shouted me out on his show. He shouted out Obsidian, who does nothing but who spent 3 years bad mouthing me. He shouted out O'Shea on his show, who does nothing, who did.
You know what that means? That means Kevin Samuels pumped and dumped Donovan Sharpe. You understand that concept? Kevin Samuels used Donovan Sharpe's platform to help build on. He used Donovan Sharpe's intellectual property, resources, conversational ability. I'll be quite frank and honest with you, right? A lot of people took from Donovan Sharpe's style of broadcasting, right? I'll be completely transparent and honest with you. Donovan Sharpe's broadcasting showed and taught me how to broadcast when I watched him a little bit. In all transparency. But now he's struggling in the same realm, in the same sphere that he helped to create, to be quite honest with you. How is that? How is it that a man that helped create the sphere, and we talked about pearly things coming in and infiltrating the manosphere and able to be a woman, first of all, infiltrating a sphere particularly for men, you know, it's like, well, it's called the manosphere. How is she? I'm not saying that women shouldn't be in the manosphere, but I thought it was called the manosphere. How are you naming something a sphere for men, but the leader is a woman? I don't get that. Right? So he's having trouble getting a footing in the same basketball league, the same rap. He's having a trouble getting a footing in the same industry that he helped to create. We've seen this for years, for millennia, time and time again from black men. There's not a unified effort of collective action. So when they make it, they're gone. They're like, deuces, niggas. I'm on the Versace boat. Hey, best of luck. I wish you well. That's how black men treat each other. That's how they treat their women when they make it. They're out of the community. It's time to date out. Hell, even broke niggas are trying to leave and go passport bros. It's becoming increasingly difficult thanks to the internet and the misinformation. Now, YouTube is trying to combat a good amount of it. But the reality of the situation is that brothers don't understand that since we have no community and they keep running to outside communities, as inflation gets worse, as civilization continues to progress amongst themselves and their societies, and we digress or regress, right? The felt effects of you not taking the time out to make yourself a better person or a better man individually will be felt collectively. You don't see it, you don't feel it now. It's kind of like the same thing where you're always, told to, be careful driving, do this, do that, do this, do that, do that, be careful, take precautions, don't do this, don't do that, lock your doors at night, yada, yada, yada. It's never real until something actually personally affects you, and then all of a sudden, you're doing that for the rest of your life. Well, right now, people are just slowly inching towards the cliff. Brothers are slowly inching towards the cliff, cutting off the nose to spite the face, right? Cutting off whatever the saying is. You get what I'm saying? Now, there's starting to be somewhat of an awakening. There's starting to be somewhat of an awakening, even in the hip hop world. The woke consciousness is starting to roll through the community, and they're starting to talk about people who control the media, the bluish people, right? They're starting to talk about this, and black people are starting to say, oh, we're getting tired of this. Charleston White's become extremely popular now, and the message that we've been speaking on this channel for the past couple of years is starting to get to the mainstream level, which is why now you see content creators starting to switch the message of black men holding themselves accountable and being realistic about their relationships or lack thereof with their brothers on the same level and with brothers of less status or class or whatever it might be as well, right? It doesn't matter if you're a educated lame or whatever it might be. On every dynamic of black male relationships, we see that there's always some sort of hostility. It doesn't. It's not all the time, but very rarely will you walk into an environment and both brothers are like, "Man, what's up, man?" And you could be strangers, but kind of just click based off of the sole fact that you're a brother. Don't money aside, things aside, jobs aside, careers aside, YouTube aside, yada yada yada. There is no brothership. There is no brotherhood. There's none, right? And that's what Kevin Samuels came to realize, and he's talking about right now. He helped out. He looked out. The same thing, I believe, that Angry Man said. Let me look up this. Let me look up see if Angry Man. Let me see if he has the video out of him working with Kevin Samuels as well, because Angry Man is another content creator. Now, I want to say somebody did a video calling out Angry Man for his disillusion apology for when Kevin Samuels dies, and I thought that this was really interesting. Let me see if I can find this video right here. Let me see if I can find this video. I forget who did it. Maybe it was DOD. And realize about, let me see if I can find it. 1 second, y'all. Well, I'm probably not going to see it. It's probably not going to pop up, but you're just going to have to take my word on it. He has a video, apologizing and this and that. But in other videos, he has a video of him getting onto Kevin Samuels, and he was extremely upset because he has old footage of him working with Kevin, and he's saying the same thing that Donovan is saying, is that once Kevin got to a certain size, Kevin never hit him up anymore. And I watched the footage, and he's right. He's right about it. Right? Now, the bad part about this is that with black men, you can't win, because you're going to have some men be like, well, it's not Kevin's job to make sure that you're successful as a YouTuber. It's not Kevin's job to do this and to do that. It's not Kevin's job to always make sure that he calls you out. You're your own man. You got to stand on your own 2 feet, this and that. It's like you can't win. You're screwed either way. You can't form no kind of brotherhood or fellowship with your brethren, because it's not their job to look after you financially. It's not their job to help build for you. Once again, it's that scarcity, that effed up scarcity mindset that well, shoot, man, you got to stand on your own 2 feet, right? You got to stand on your own 2 feet. Only in our community, you have to constantly stand on your own 2 feet while you're being shot at by your own people, right? You got to stand on your own 2 feet, right? So both of them, the originators of the Manosphere, had a problem, but they'll be quick to tell you, though, and they'll be quick to come together in one unified message of how bad and how destructive all women are, right? So what? I guess women have collectively come together against men. That's what the Manosphere is saying, that all women are the same. All women understand the ploy. All women are playing guys. Women get it. Women have conversations with their friends. Even if she's not that type of woman, she'll have a home girl that could influence her. She'll have a home girl that is that type of woman. Or all women have seen these things and yada, 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 yada. Well, okay, so the women came together collectively, but the guys haven't been able to come together collectively to ensure that the brothers are going to be able to at least monetize this word that all the women are really... Right? That's what Donovan Sharpe is really complaining about. He's not monetizing, and he's not able to go to any type of community where he can monetize, because there's no more Kevin Samuels. There is no more black man at the head of the black manosphere. It is now ran by the woman that you see in the background of this dual shot lens. It is ran by Pearly Things. So now Donovan wants to go ahead and start talking about black men. Brothers, we got to get it together, black men. We got to get together because now it's time to get it together. It's a little too late.
But who spent 3 years bad mouthing me? He shouted out O'Shea on his show. Who does nothing? Who did a bunch of shit talking about me? But he wouldn't shout me out. It's not like, and listen, man, Kevin didn't know me anything. He didn't know me anything. But goddamn, man. Like Kevin, like I'm the guy who had Kevin Samuels on the most. Kevin I am the channel that Kevin Samuels appeared on the most, and it's not close.
Let's go ahead and give a shout out. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to Tampa Supreme for capturing this imagery. Tampa Supreme, make sure you subscribe to Tampa Supreme. He's done diss videos on me and all kinds of stuff. But Tampa Supreme, this is his video titled Kevin Samuels' Last Words to Donovan Sharpe. Kevin Samuels wasn't cool with Sharpe like that. Make sure you subscribe to Tampa Supreme.
It's not close. The very first time I had Kevin Samuels on was 4 years ago. He's been on, listen, he's been on my platform 47 times. Nobody else can say that. Nobody else can say that. But as soon as he started getting DMs from Brittany Renner and Cam Newton and Future, that was it. He forgot all about me, man. And that shit hurts, man. That shit, oh my God, dude. That hurts. It really fucking hurts. It fucking hurts, man. And like I said, I didn't expect anything.
You know, it does hurt. I'll be honest with him. I'll be honest with you. He's telling the truth. I realize that, and y'all, if you've been on my channel for, a lot of y'all are in the building. Shout out to everybody that's been rocking for a while, man. Love y'all. I told y'all about the stories when I realized that these dudes are worse than white people. The guys that I was in the hood with. I told y'all when I had the paradigm shift and the realization that if I was any other race of guy, I would be in a much better position, even in the same circumstance. What do I mean by that? If I was in that same ghetto or hood area and it was filled with nothing but Mexicans and I was Mexicans, it would be in a much better environment and situation. Why? Because I know that half the block going to be cooking and I can literally just go walk over to their houses. Half the time, literally just go walk into their house. I kid you not. That's how they operate, man. Knock, quick knock. Hello? Oh, man. Hey, come in. That's how they operate, man. They're like, I stayed with Mexicans and I rented a room on Craigslist. They treated me like, for the most part, a complimentary Mexican. Very family-oriented people. We were all strangers, but very family-oriented. Ate dinner all at the table. So even in the same circumstance, if my race was different, if I was an Asian man living in the hood, at least I know that together all the Asian families, if I was related to any of them, would start saving money and putting money together so we could start a business to get the hell up out of there, right? Any other race of person, I realized I would have been in a better position, but I was a black guy. And we didn't have any of the gas stations in the ghettos. We didn't own any of the cigarette stores or liquor stores. There was no ownership whatsoever anywhere around the areas that we predominated. So I was at the mercy of what little resources or the scarcity mindset of the brothers around me, the brethren around me, right? I was at the whim of the financial equity that we as a community, we as a group of 150 in the neighborhood, black guys, men, boys, could do. Shout out to Mr. T that was right beside me that fixed my tie rod. Mr. T fixed my tie rod on my car. He was an old 65-year-old dude, 66-year-old dude, drank all the time, smoked all the time. But when my tie rod went out, Mr. T fixed it. That's an example of personal currency right there, right? Something that the other races of people do all the time. Something breaks down and the guys can help. They'll help you fix this. And in return, you might have something upgraded in your house. That's how other races of people work. We don't work like that. We take from the people who are the victims of who oftentimes, because when I first got to the streets, I wasn't the type of dude that I am now. That's for sure. Right. I'd say now I'm definitely more of a nerdy savage. But before then I was much more timid. I was raised in a great environment. So it was very unfamiliar to be in the hood, the streets and everything like that. And people, black guys saw that. They were predators in the environment because, once again, the scarcity mindset. If there's nothing around, what limited resources there are to consume, well, people are going to go for that. Fuck your feelings. That's the way it goes in the hood. Niggas enjoy violence. Niggas enjoy fighting. Like let me play y'all a video that I saw, and I saw this video today, and it was interesting. I was like, it's so true. How this is. Theo Von is a comedian, and he was talking to Boosie, Little Boosie, about black men fighting, and Boosie was explaining why it is the way it is. So check this out. It's an interesting little psychological tidbit here. YouTube short, won't take too long.
I've always felt like when I was young, like felt like sometimes I would get scared, and my black friends would not get scared. Like they didn't feel fear or something the same way that white people did. Does that make any sense to you? Do you think?
Right, because this is a different upbringing. You know, our whoopings are different.
Right.
You know,
right.
So if you get beat by your daddy, you know, your mom beat your ass with a switch. Our moms beat our ass. So fighting you, that's not shit.
Right.
You know, we feel our mothers and fathers more than anything in the streets. That's
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah, that would be a thing, man. I would feel like if I got in a fight with a black kid, I'd be like, damn, I'm scared and he's about to fucking have fun. And that was a scary feeling, you know?
Yeah, because it's like that. You know, we go out there to do that shit.
We go out there to do that shit. I saw it firsthand, man. Yeah, black dudes, niggas love fighting. Niggas love fighting. My cousin loves fighting. My cousin's missing teeth and everything from fighting for 5 years in the penitentiary. Right? My cousin is a Crip. He loves fighting. Literally went to jail for fighting. Right? So the element of this lack of hostile, it's so evident, right? And we all know this. I don't know how many generations it's going to take to where a black man can look another black man in the eye and not feel an immediate sense of either fear, anger, resentment. But all black men, every single last one of them, when they see another black man, has a slight red flag go up. That's just a fact. There's a slight Let me see what kind of brother this is I'm dealing with right here. See if he's cool. We automatically have to go on the inquisitive, because you just don't know. It's that rare to find upstanding, right? Just don't know. You don't know what you might have to deal with
in return from Kevin. But I didn't expect him to try to turn me against one of my closest friends because of some personal vendetta. Because think about this. So let's say that I foolishly decide to do the whole, publicly disputing Myron Gaines. Now, Myron and Fresh won't have anything to do with me. Kevin is off doing videos with Future, making appearances on ATL. Where does that leave me? Nobody. I'm a man without a fucking island.
And there you have it. This is the real reason why black men will continue to stay dead last. When you realize the true issue is not, because guess what, y'all? Donovan Sharpe's message has not changed. He's still to a point, and what do I mean by this? Obviously his message has changed because it's had to change. But what if he was able to, he still does, quite frankly, make the same type of videos that he's been making for a long time. Now, YouTube changes, things change, people change, information changes, content consumption changes, things change all the time. If you don't flip or switch with the modern times, then yes, things end up going out of style. And partially, that is the reason why Donovan Sharpe's viewership has dropped as well. However, the mantra, make new friends but keep the old, one friend silver and the other friends gold, yeah, good luck with that. Scarcity mindset time, especially in these YouTube streets, there is no loyalty because there's already barely any loyalty in the community to begin with. If we had more loyalty, we'd have more businesses, we'd have more money, we'd have more, once again, scarcity mindset you're fighting, and you're realizing on YouTube, Donovan Sharpe, that you're still fighting against the same damn problem, and that's the scarcity mindset amongst our people. What do I mean by that? Nobody wants to share your page if they think that you're better than them in our community. Nobody wants to do that because that means you're going to be taking way more money. That's why Nyla says and Taz go on exposés and tirades to try and oust everybody, and they tried to oust everybody that was starting to take their place. This is why they doxed everybody. This is why they do this. This is why it's so viscerally, gutturally evilly difficult to be content creators in black spaces because your own people will set it and make it a priority to get you the F out of there. It's a scarcity mindset. You're cool until you start taking them to school. You're cool until you start eating. Once you start eating, then all of a sudden there's not enough food on the plate for everybody, even though there's plenty enough food. There's plenty enough food. But because we're not unified as a collective whole, all you're doing while you're eating is staring at somebody else's plate. It's like having a dinner table filled with a bunch of food right in the middle, right? Enough food for everybody to eat right in the middle, right? But the food is in like a bowl. It's in a giant black bowl, and you're sitting down, so you can't necessarily see how much food is in the very like center of the pot. But people grab and they put it on their plate, and the entire time you're eating because you're so hungry, and you're just seeing how much food other people have on their plate, and you're like, damn, they have a lot of food. Like, dang, they got a whole bunch of food, yada yada yada. Like, they don't even need that much food, yada yada yada. There's enough for you to eat right in the center of the table, but you're so asphyxiated with that potentially running out that you don't even take a second to look at how much food is on the inside. We are like, black people are, black guys specifically, are like, it's pocket watching. Now we call it pocket watching, right? That's the famous hood political term. Stop pocket watching, bro. You're so affixed with somebody else, where you're so affixed with your own that you're not willing to take time to share, or to take time to see how many resources are there, or to take time to see if you can have a conversation with the people at the table and really just enjoy your meal because there's enough food right there. No, you're just like, okay, let's go. Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. Let's go. And you never took time to form a relationship with anybody that you were eating at that financial monetary table with. You know what I mean? So those bonds, those connections, it wasn't ever there. You were simply there for one reason and one reason alone, and that was to fill your own stomachs up. That's what this community is. Everybody comes to the table and they recognize the message that is there, and that is that shitting on black women. That's still a little bit hot, and it's going to change a little bit, but that's what the message that's hot is right now. So they've all come together collectively to shit on black women by the tens and the hundreds and by the millions on Kevin Samuels' channel. But still, they will not come together to build businesses. You know how many black-owned businesses are in this, like, on the area that I'm in? There's a decent amount of black people. I think I might have seen one at the mall with my girl one time. One. And I don't even know if they're there anymore. I haven't seen them. So they can come together to the table for destruction, which is why the major pop element, the major pop culture inside a community is violence. They come together. Black men, we can come together for some destruction now, right? Donovan Sharpe just realized that. He said, I'm on an island by myself. You see, he built up a big house, a big fortress on this island. He thought that people were going to be coming over to come party with him and come share resources and to come help him build on this island. Well, you got a nice little castle now on an island by yourself. Having an island isn't so fun when you're by yourself. Well, you're not. You got your woman, right? It's more than what Tommy Sotomayor has. It's more than what a lot of guys, to be quite fair and honest with you, have. Matter of fact, he has a woman. And that's one of the reasons why he was actually discredited to begin with, because he had a woman. Boy, y'all are sad, bro. Y'all are sad, bro. Like, golly. Y'all niggas are sad. I mean, no loyalty any type of where, like, I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what y'all want. Do you want to be truly single and lonely? Are you truly upset that Donovan Sharpe has a wife? Is that what the issue is? Y'all niggas are sad. You know who else is sad? You know who else is sad? This nigga's sad too. Nick Cannon welcomes his 11th. Make sure you're liking the videos, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into some news. His 11th beautiful child. His 3rd with Abby De La Rosa. Let's drop some bombs for Nick Cannon. And we dropped the law and order sign for some child support that he knows he's definitely going to have to pay. I'm looking at this picture right now. Nick Cannon is looking a little sickly. Nick Cannon announced Saturday he welcomed his 11th child, beautiful Zeppelin Cannon, on Friday. Beautiful is Cannon's third child. Oh, the child's name is Beautiful. Okay. Let's drop some bombs. Mother of 1-year-old twins Zion and Zillion, De La Rose confirmed she was carrying Cannon's child Tuesday on an Instagram story. A legit question, are these women not, like, embarrassed?
Most beautiful. Just one look of your face, you are.
Bruh.
Most beautiful. Just one look of your face, you are. Most beautiful. Just one look of your face, you are. Most beautiful.
All right. Next news item here. Twins. Sad story right here. 23-year-old twins electrocuted in Hurricane Nicole died while babysatting a car. Twin siblings pictured in the screen you see right now in Orlando, Florida, were killed in tragic circumstances when they made contact with the downed power line in midst of Hurricane Nicole. Man, talk about some Final Destination type of stuff, dude. The tragedy unfolded in the suburb of Conway on Thursday morning when Khalil Sapp was traveling alongside his sister Kiana and her daughter Mila, aged 1, when they encountered the live cable. The story says Khalil touched the line and was electrocuted. He was pronounced dead at the scene, according to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. His sister then exited the vehicle but was electrocuted in her attempts to save her brother. Jesus. That's a horrific story. Said because of the high winds, first responders had trouble getting to the victims. Kiana was rushed to a nearby hospital where she was pronounced dead. Neff told the station that Khalil's body was literally on fire by the time paramedics were able to get him. Jesus. So just a horrific tragedy there. Sorry about the gruesome details. I hadn't read that second slide. It's pretty bad. But, you know, I guess when it's your time to some extent, maybe it really is your time, man. Maybe it really is your time. Terrible tragedies have been happening all around the community and the world. But the biggest tragedy still is yet to have been addressed. However, we're going to do our very best to make sure that we put it at the very forefront of everything that we talk about coming up in the next couple of months here. We're going to have more conversations, more discussions. Don't worry, we're not done with the live stream yet. We still have some more stuff to talk about. We were only a few minutes into actually the entire conversation of black men and what Donovan Sharpe had to say about black men to begin with. So make sure you buckle up, take a little break. We're about 3/4 of the way through the stream. Got more to talk about. Be on the lookout for the pre-recorded videos. Like the stream once again. Thank you for all contributors who are donating.
Last very long if its subordinates racked in more cash than the actual company, right? Number 3, you said you can't afford to move. Caller, you want to know what that tells me about you? It tells me that you don't want it bad enough. That's another problem with black men. We say we want something, but when we start doing the math in terms of what it's going to take to get what we say we want, we make excuses. I can't afford to move. Ain't no jobs out here, blah, 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 blah. Caller, if where you are in Tennessee were so bad and the jobs so crappy and all the rest of that, and you were motivated enough to change your life, you'd find a way to get the hell out of whatever podunk redneck town you're in. When I landed in Las Vegas over a decade ago, I had $700 in my pocket and a 22-inch suitcase full of clothes. That's all I had. I had to crash on a friend's house for 2 months. No privacy, no space, no nothing. Had to share a bathroom, didn't have a place to put my things, all the rest of that. Now, I will be forever grateful to my friend for helping me out, but that's not where I wanted to be. I didn't want to be cramped up in a small apartment sleeping on a couch that made my back hurt when I woke up. So you want to know what I did, caller? I made a choice. I made a choice to get off my buddy's couch and get a place of my own. I made a choice to save my money and to spend it wisely. I made a choice to be successful. You want to know what jobs I had to work? I had to work in call centers. That's right, caller. Telemarketing, as in getting hung up on, getting cursed out, getting called names, all that fun stuff. But guess what? I was the top earner for 9 out of the 14 months, which included a 5-month streak. 5 months in a row as the top earner. That job wasn't glamorous at all, man. I didn't have an office. I wasn't wearing a suit to work every day. I was crammed in a cubicle farm with 300 other people where there was barely enough elbow room between any of us. I wasn't selling yachts. I wasn't selling Lamborghinis. You want to know what I was selling? I was selling cell phone plans to senior citizens who couldn't understand what I was saying half the time. They couldn't hear me. That job sucked and I freaking hated it. But I stayed with it and I made a boatload of money while everybody else was barely making enough to cover their rent and their gas money. There was nothing special about me, caller, still isn't. But the difference was that I chose to be successful, while those who worked with me chose to complain about the job and what it was or wasn't doing for them.
You know what? He just likened the entire manosphere complaining about women, but don't actually want to become winners themselves. That's literally what Donovan Sharpe just said. He literally just, quite frankly, outed himself, if I'm being honest, right? But that's literally the problem with a lot of you guys. I understand that it's not fair that women only want a certain type of guy, that 80% only want 20% of guys. But that's not changing, and that wouldn't change, right? It's not even necessarily wrong, and we've covered that in the past. But once again, still, the guys would rather complain than try and become the 20% guy. This is exactly what Donovan's saying. Your answer to the solution is in your problem. But you focus on the problem rather than the solution.
Way too many brothers out here complain about the process of being successful and building wealth. This job's too hard. I'm not making enough money. My boss is racist. He doesn't like black people. Then wonder why they're still living at they mama's living check to check. I'm not saying what I did was easy, far from it, but I knew what I had to do to change my situation. And after saving almost $70,000, I bought the first of 7, count 'em, 7 rental properties, and 3 years after I moved to Las Vegas with nothing but the clothes on my back and a little cash, I was able to give the finger to the call center and plant my flag and be my own boss. I clawed my way out of being broke. Brothers, we ain't got that kind of drive. We ain't got that kind of motivation, man. We just want things to happen for us.
I know I'm using the bombs a lot. I'm sorry. I'll stop. I never thought I'd hear Donovan Sharpe say the words, to be quite frank and honest with you. I'll be frank. I said that they would start changing their tone. Guys, we did it. We took down the manosphere. It was us. It was us specifically. It was all of our mods. It is fundamentally under attack. YouTube bans the biggest manosphere content creators now. They're going to ban just Pearly Things one day. I guarantee you they're going to ban Pearly Things. She's already banned off TikTok and Instagram. Fresh and Fit, I don't know. I think because Myron's a federal agent, so I don't know if they're going to ban that, to be honest. But everybody else, all these other cats, Andrew Tate, gone, right? Coach Greg is still here, but he's demonetized, but he's still trying. But I think they're going to grab Coach Greg probably in the next 6 months and either completely demonetize him or something. But I don't know. I think they're going to. Now I'm not saying we actually did it, but I think that the bigger, because I wasn't trying to just take down the manosphere either. We weren't trying to just take it. We were just trying to bring actual truth to the conversation, which is what Donovan is saying now and what they're going to start harping a bit more now, because they're starting to get tired of the niggas calling, right? Of Pookie calling from, as Donovan said and showed in this video, his mama's house, right? Bottom left.
This is another huge problem with us. You called me up talking about, man, ain't no jobs out here and I can't move, but I'm trying to increase wealth. Bro, you can't afford to pay attention right now and you're talking wealth? Fam, you got to do a lot more than that before you start talking about wealth. And your mindset.
Bro, this is the same thing I experienced when I was talking to these niggas on this panel. Like, Negroids were trying to, school me on things as if my IQ isn't higher than all of theirs put together. I was like, do y'all know who you're talking to right now? I'm not your average cookie. Okay? There's a lot I don't know, but there's not much that any of y'all could teach me. No offense. No, I was talking to them, to them on the panel, because they weren't the brightest crayons. But they thought that they were putting together the Pythagorean theorem. They thought that they were putting together the Da Vinci Scrolls. They thought that they were transcribing Da Vinci Scrolls in ancient Hebrew. They really thought that they were onto something. And I listen, and I this happens a lot when I talk to our brothers. I'll be listening, and I'm just thinking, what are we talking about right now? Y'all have heard me say that. I'm like, what are we talking about? Sports, politics, light conversation, just trying to see how deep, right? How deep the rivers run, how deep the electrical synapses are, how many electrical synapses are flaring off. And, it's kind of grim half the time. I'm like, bro, y'all can't be talking about. You need to take a step back. You got to focus on the basics right now. Take care of you before you start worrying about a family or women or something along that nature. Go farther in your education before you try and start teaching people, or at least, be honest with yourself about your level of intellect. But I don't know. It's extremely difficult trying to teach brethren something who already know something. There's not many conversations where their ideas are bounced back and forth. Brainstorming. I grew up brainstorming in school, right? I remember the first time I heard the concept brainstorm. Hey, let's brainstorm a couple of ideas. This is what the white schools, do. Let's brainstorm a couple of ideas of how we can kind of figure out. And so on the chalkboard, my teacher drew a bunch of clouds, and those represented the thunder clouds, right? And the entire concept was to get you to understand that thinking outside of the box with, different mindset and painting the picture with a different set of crayons, or maybe using pastels, or, maybe just not even painting the picture at all. But I don't know. Using juice as paint. The concept was to get you to break outside of the mold, and they spent years instilling that inside of the educational curriculum, right? Well, a lot of the schools don't take time to teach concepts of brainstorming, thinking outside of the block. It's very black and white, no pun intended, inside of the community. And so when I go and try and have these conversations, right, a lot of the time, half the time, it's people that weren't able to be afforded a private education, who weren't able to be afforded teachers who could actually take the time out to find and personalize a style of teaching, right? The schools that I came up in and grew up in, where they were private schools. So the teachers were paid a lot more, and they cared a lot more. And as a result, we were able to listen and learn and adapt to a lot more of life situations that might present themselves. We're more rounded. Children become more rounded when you expose them to more things, right? And so there's not that much exposure in certain areas of our community other than just straight destruction, deceptiveness, degeneracy, and violence. And now we're starting to feel that right now. We're starting to feel all the microcosms coming together. Us not being good, the white man who was bad at one point, everything starting to come together at a head, but at the root of it is a problem within us. It doesn't matter how bad any other race of man is. We'll always be the worst to ourselves. We'll always look to building up other races, even if we claim that they're bad and racist. We talk about how bad black and white, or how bad white men are, how racist the Mexican men are, but you're trying to go passport, bro, to the Mexican or to the Latino communities or to the Southern American countries. You're trying to go passport, bro. When you vacation, you want to go to Spain. When you go to buy clothes, you want to buy the Balenciaga and you want to buy the Versace. And this is not just with black men. This is with all of us as a community. But still, once again, the leaders are going to face the brunt of it. I get it. But I'll say this: the sisterhood is a lot more collective. That's why they have the investment, right? So it's like this weird polarizing duality amongst ourselves, where we constantly shit on everybody else, while from the inside out we rip ourselves apart. It's wild, man. It's wild. That's why I say I don't know if there's really a solution, because in order to take a step forward, we got to take a million steps back right now and address very fundamental issues. This is why education absolutely does matter. It 1,000,000% matters. And I used to not really understand the educational thing as much. Like, I'm never going to use algebra. Why am I learning about trigonometry? I'm not going to use trigonometry. And it's true, I didn't learn about trigonometry. But what trigonometry does inside the brain of a 12 or 13-year-old kid is very, 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 it's vastly misunderstood, or vastly ill understood inside of our community, right? That's all I'll say about that.
A huge problem, especially with black men. As black men, we tend to think that the end game is always wealth. We think the end game is being a millionaire and being a baller and all the rest of that. But most men who actually think this way don't have a pot to piss in, they don't have a job, and living at home with their mamas.
So He's right about that, and this is something I want to say about this. The end goal absolutely is wealth. Make no mistake about it. We are trying to be wealthy in the end goal. However, there's no shortcut to it, and I think Donovan ends up going to say that. And that a lot of the time, if you've hired or if you've done business or if you tried to at least get something started within a black community, a lot of the times the stuff just doesn't come out right. And this is a big reason why a lot of us don't like to hire specifically solely black people to do certain jobs, especially on a certain level, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. We'd be a lot more, apprehensive because it's like, okay, I just want to make sure the stuff is done right. No offense. I'm just not sure, right? So we're going to be a bit more than we would with other races of people. It's just a fact of the matter. If a group of Mexican dudes show up to your house for deconstruction or reconstructive surgery or for modification to your home, you will feel a lot more at ease than if a group of brothers just walk through your door. It's a fact. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter if you're black yourself. It's a fact. All right. So at the most fundamental level, yeah, the concept isn't even, or the end goal shouldn't be the quick way to wealth. It is wealth, yes, but taking time to perfect and to build a baseline is much more important to attaining that wealth. And once you do that and you're recognized in doing something well enough, then the money ends up coming. It doesn't matter what you do in life. The best plumber in the world is going to be a millionaire, right? It doesn't matter what you do. And this is why we stress the importance of making sure that you make yourself the best person possible. Because if you're the best freaking ramen noodle maker, you're going to be a millionaire. You will. If you're the best ramen noodle maker and you start taking pictures and putting it on Instagram, you will become a millionaire, right? The concept is to become better individually, and then collectively you start to grow. This is what Donovan, I think, didn't say as well as he's trying to.
Black men ain't interested in crawling. We trying to sprint right out the gate. We trying to go from rags to riches in 2 weeks. But I got news for you, bruh. It ain't going down like that. Any man, regardless of skin tone, who has amassed wealth will tell you that building wealth takes a lot of work, a lot of patience, and a lot of time. You called me up talking about, I'm trying to build wealth, but I can't move and ain't no jobs out here. What's up? That last thing you said, what's up, that tells me you're looking for a cheat code. You're looking for a shortcut. That's another problem with black men. We ain't trying to do the work. We want that quick, fast, easy money. We want to be that dude with more money in our pocket than in our bank account. Well, I got news for you, fam. I can't help you there. I don't know nothing about no overnight success. I don't know anything about living with my mama and complaining that there aren't any jobs out here, but still trying to get rich. But let me tell you about what I do know. Number one, I've been doing this for over 6 years. I started out writing for a couple of blogs and built the foundation for my brand. I didn't get on YouTube until, almost 4 years into this whole Donovan Sharpe thing. Number two, I work at least 84 hours a week.
So another big reason why Donovan is pretty upset, and you can hear he's telling you how much work he's put into it, and his numbers aren't reflecting it, right? Pearly Things got 400,000 subscribers in a month. Okay, so another reason why he's going off on this tangent and saying the things he's saying is because he's like, where's the support? I've been doing this for X amount of time, and y'all don't even recognize that. But let a woman just come in here, stroll through, saying whatever you want to hear. All of a sudden, you happy go lucky for the same gender of people that you claim are all trash.
And that's probably a conservative number. Honestly, it's probably up around 90, 95. My girl has to come in here and drag my ass out of here every night. I work from sun up till sundown. And I only take breaks really to lift weights, eat, breathe. I don't know, maybe go bowling to get out of the house and to keep from going crazy. And that's if I'm lucky. Number three, I didn't start making any real money until about a year ago. It took me over 5 years for me to start making the kind of money that allows me to reinvest in my business, pull my girl off her job so she can come and work for me, and maybe have a few creature comforts, a few little extras. 5 years, caller. Number four, I have had to overcome countless setbacks. I've had guys I've collaborated with spread lies about me. I've had dudes I've worked with go on 2-3 hour rants about how Donovan is this and Donovan is that. These are guys I trusted, guys I worked with. Number five, I've been deplatformed multiple times on every platform that matters. Facebook, 3 times. Twitter, twice. Vimeo, which is a paid service, twice. Instagram, you name it, I've been kicked off. And trust me when I tell you, caller, It took a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of money to overcome and thrive in spite of these setbacks. And I can tell just by the sound of your voice, you ain't got the stones to handle any of that. You sound lazy, caller. You don't sound like the kind of man who can overcome, adapt, and thrive.
So, if this guy doesn't sound like the type of guy who can overcome, adapt, and thrive, and Donovan Sharpe goes on to say earlier, aforementioned probably a minute beforehand, that most black guys are like this guy calling. Let's try and add. What's 1 + 1, guys? If this caller doesn't have the stones to make it because he can't adapt and provide, and most black men are like this guy calling, then what exactly are we complaining about women for? Wouldn't women be justified in their complaints about the status, adaptability, the conservative leadership ability of black men? Wouldn't they be justified in their degradation of character, or rather the revelation of character in a lot of the guys that they might have had the opportunity to date, whether or not you think they're a player or not? If Donovan Sharpe is saying that most black men are like this guy calling, and he admits that the guy calling doesn't have the mindset needed to really find financial freedom and equitable success that he's looking for in capitalistic white America, then are the women wrong? Are all the women's complaints unjustified at this point? I'm not saying that there are women that play guys, that are sneaky, that aren't devious, that have had guys set up. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that definitely is a part of the scarcity mindset, and you trying to get yours by any means necessary. It all ties back into each other. It all comes full circle. It all has to do with leadership and who's at the head of the community. If there's no rules inside of a civilization, if there's no leadership, no decorum, no structure, if there's no type of backbone that is solidifying or making the people, and I'm not trying to say making the people, but providing a certain level of morality, ethics, and values inside a community that drives a society to ensure that they keep the community mindset progressively moving forward, then the community is not going to progress. What black leaders do are there really? You know what I just saw? We just saw this on TV. Let me show you something. Diddy scholarship. P. Diddy is doing a scholarship for somebody in Belize. Look at this. Look at this shit. Shine launches Howard University scholarship named after Diddy, but it's pretty much Diddy or something like that, right? So Shine works with Diddy. It's either Diddy scholarship or it's one of theirs. You're like, Lou and former boss Diddy launch a scholarship, right? And it's going to be given to a student from Belize. So it's a $1 million Howard scholarship. He's going to pledge $1 million to his alma mater, Howard University. He's not even giving the money to a kid. He's giving a $1 million to Howard University. Okay, so just keep that in mind. What does this mean? Well, it's going to give a financially challenged student from Belize the opportunity. Thank you, Diddy. Okay, just so you know how much money Diddy has. Diddy just spent 30-something odd billion buying a company. Diddy just spent $30,000 million. That's how much 30 billion is. 30 billion is 30,000 million. I don't understand what type of money these guys have, y'all. I don't understand. Can you imagine $30,000 million? $1 million stacks, 30,000 of them. 30,000 $1 million stacks of money is how much this guy just spent. And they came together to give a $1 million scholarship, not even to anybody, not to a person, but to a university, so they could send one student from Belize the opportunity to study in business, tech, or education. $30 billion and you're sending, you got $30 billion and you're sending one student. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Nobody says anything. We have a super chat, I was told. We have a super chat. I just don't get it. And nobody says anything. You can't be out here judging man pocket though, True. You can't out be judging man pocket, True. See, you can't be trying to judge a man pocket. Niggas on the panel judging my pockets 24/7. How much money did you give to the kids? You got a business license though? You got this, you got that? A combined IQ of 74 amongst 7 niggas. Trying to plot on me. And the little that I do. Trying to take the little that I do down. Meanwhile, we have people. Ay. Whew. We got a lot of work to do, y'all. Woo! We got a lot of work to do. Philly Kid in the building. Philly Kid coming through with a $10 super chat. Yo, man, shout out to Philly Kid. I appreciate that. Philly Kid swang through, and he showed support, man. It's good. We got good brothers in the building over here. You already know that. Philly Kid coming through. $10 super chat says, what's up, bro? Showing some support, brother. I appreciate that, Philly. $30,000 million. Thank you, Diddy, for sending a student from Belize to Howard. 1. Sure, the community will reel in revelational success from that. Amazing. Let's continue on here, shall we? No accountability. It's not Diddy's job, True. It's not Diddy's job. But the white man.
Another problem with black men. That's
The white man won't give us reparations. We need reparations.
what it takes to build and increase wealth. But we ain't trying to do that. Nope. We want it to be easy. There's a content creator by the name of Obsidian, who's actually a pretty sharp guy. Very intelligent, excellent writer, all the rest of that. But Obsidian is frustrated that he is not as successful as his contemporaries. He doesn't say it out loud, and I gotta be honest, neither would I. But go on over and watch his channel, caller, and it will be plainly obvious to you that he is an extremely frustrated individual. And that frustration derives from his lack of success. Now, there are many reasons why he's not successful, but you wanna know what the main reason is? The main reason is that he doesn't adapt. He's been singing the same tired tune for over 5 years. He hasn't changed his content. He hasn't changed his approach. He hasn't changed anything. All he does is complain about women and fights with other content creators. He's always beefing with some dude over some.
That'll be the biggest thing going forward. Just complaining about women. That's gonna be the new movement of guys. They're gonna be like, no, guys, don't complain about women. You need to make yourself watch.
Thing. It's always angry man did this, or Alan Roger Curry said that, or Donovan Sharpe shouldn't be speaking on this. That's all he does. You would think that a man with his level of intelligence would finally figure out that talking trash about other men for 3 and 4 hours is not what successful people do. Yet, 5 years later, he's got the same bad habits and he's still broke. Oh yeah, listen, he'll lie, right? He'll tell everyone that he's a man of means and that his girl is a dime and that he bends her over his couch and this, that, and a third. But people know he's full of it because he doesn't show receipts. He never has. Why? Because he doesn't have them, which points to another problem with black men, and that is lying about who we are and what we have. Black men are steady bragging about, I got all this money, my girl is a dime piece, and I'm this and I'm that, when it is obvious they're being dishonest. And men who lie about who and what they are never successful, ever. So it should come as no surprise as to why Obsidian isn't where he thinks he deserves to be. He calls himself a, quote, dating coach, but then he turns around and asks his audience to send him money for his light bill. That's not something a, quote, man of means does. And then he wonders why he's not successful.
Yeah, well, in all fairness, Donovan, your friend Pearly Things calls herself a high-value woman, and she's single as hell. So, you know, it goes both ways.
And again, while there are many reasons for his lack of success, the main reason is that he hasn't evolved. He doesn't realize that the content people want is a moving target. What people wanted 5 years ago isn't necessarily what they want today. And by the way, I fully expect Obsidian to do a quote response video, which will probably go on for 2-3 hours. Okay, he'll tell everyone he does have money. He'll tell everyone that his girl is hot, but the only receipts that he'll show can be found on Google Images. Then he'll turn around and talk about how my girl looks like trailer trash, and listen, maybe she does, but I know this.
Hold on, Donovan, hold on now. All right, gentlemen, let me go ahead and just give y'all a little piece of advice here, okay? If somebody is talking about your woman, don't ever take the advice of what anybody's saying if it's not in a positive way. You better fight that shit tooth and nail if you want the respect of your woman. You better be willing to fight, throw down. I'll be honest, blaze it out if you need to. I'm just saying you got to be in that mindset, because if you lose a woman's respect for you, if you lose her trust, right? If she's a really good woman, you lose her trust, there's no replacing it, man. If she's a really good woman and you lose that, and she loses that trust one time, one good time, and another man takes that trust, you're done for. All right? That's just a lesson as a guy. All right? So be sure. You gotta be alpha through and through. All right? You better handle the situation and handle it right. Don't ever agree with another dude about the way your woman looks, man. What's wrong with you? That's so disrespectful, man. You know how that woman's probably feeling right now? You know what she's probably feeling like to hear Donovan say that after he's already said all the stuff about her? Man, that's so shitty, dude. That's crazy. Sheesh. Major L for that, D.
He couldn't keep his eyes off of her when I was at his crib back in 2016. So I guess, I don't know, trailer trash is his type. Stay tuned for the response video.
So he said that let's listen to that again. One more second.
Trailer trash, and listen, maybe she does, but I know this can be found on Google Images. Then he'll turn around and talk about how my girl looks like trailer trash, and listen, maybe she does, but I know this. He couldn't keep his eyes off of her when I was at his crib back in 2016. So I guess, I don't know, trailer trash is his type. Stay tuned for the response video.
Bro, he literally called this girl trailer trash. Woo! All right. Hey, make sure you like the video. We are enjoying this beautiful, lovely, what's today? Sunday afternoon, 3:42 p.m. in the great state of Texas. Let's go ahead and move on to our national day of the day today. Man, we've been streaming for, it's only been an hour. That's good. Okay. National day of the days today. It's good to have you all in the building. Human Animal Relationship Awareness Week. It's also National Hug a Musician Day. Babe, I'm going to need my hug in a little bit. It's International Fraud. Oh, they put ads. Look at that. They've stepped it up. International Fraud Awareness Week. Y'all, serious conversation. Be sure to have a discussion with your elderly, parents and people in your family, because they are really, really susceptible to scams. I didn't know it was that much of a problem. It's Perioperative Nurse Week. I have no idea what that means, but it's Perioperative Nurse Week, Day of Mourning. I hope that all of you are doing okay. If you're dealing with, in these holiday seasons, losing a loved one or losing somebody that was important to you. It's also Sadie Hawkins Day. Sadie Hawkins is probably the day that the manosphere would actually relish in. Sadie Hawkins is when, in school, the girls approach a guy for a dance that they have. So it's like it's a dance, like kind of like prom, right? Except the girls approach the guys. So that's what the Sadie Hawkins dance is. There's actually a really funny song I used to listen to, a rock song by a band called Reliant K, and it was called Sadie Hawkins Dance. So if you listen to Reliant K, if you're one of those few people watching this, then shout out to you. And last but not least, it is World Kindness Day. Be kind to somebody today, and I hope that they're kind to you. We're going to continue these discussions coming up here in a little bit. You already know one of the new topics we're going to talk about. I might make that the next live stream. It will be soon. Later on today, we're going to have a lot of clips that are being uploaded from the past couple of live streams, because if you haven't noticed, YouTube actually updated now to where if you go to somebody's channel, their live stream videos don't actually pop up under the main section or under the video tab anymore. And so if you're a content creator, understand now that lives, pre-uploaded videos, shorts, they all have their own tab if you haven't taken a look at it. I didn't know that until a couple days ago. So now the algorithm starts to favor a lot of short content videos. Once again, we're going to keep these long style videos because that's how we started the game. And even though Donovan Sharpe did say, yes, messages change and the theme of messages have changed from the past 5 years or so, or from 5 years prior to where they are today, the crux of the issue of our messages remains the same. And that's the leadership within a certain community who's been at the bottom for quite a while now, who I'm a part of. And I feel the recourses, I feel the issues. I feel the whatever's. I can't think of the right word. So we're gonna keep on these discussions. Probably go live again, if not tomorrow, the next day after. I'd like to go live again. I have 5 lives already scheduled, so you'll see them posted here in a little bit. When we do go live, I'll be posting them and the thumbnails ahead of time. If you see early live stream during the day, most of the time I'm probably not going to make it. I try my best though, especially since I know that we actually have people that are kind of, trickling back in due to the shorts. I ask you to not unsubscribe. There will be quite a lot of shorts that are uploaded here in the next few hours, and it's going to continue that way. I'm going to be spamming you like Pearly Things does, essentially, right? So she's on to something there. As are a lot of YouTubers. YouTube is rewarding the short form content quite a bit right now. We just talked about how we were stagnant in the gross and the subs, and so we gained like 20 or 30 subs from just the shorts alone, from one short alone. So that's pretty interesting. So there's gonna be a lot more. Anyways, I love you all so much. I want to thank you for contributing. If you want to contribute off air, you could do that with either PayPal or Cash App. We're going to keep the content running. It means a lot. Thank you, M87, once again, for that big donation. And thank you, Philly Kid, for coming through and showing love again, man. I appreciate that, especially when it's men that are donating, because for a guy to donate when you're specifically talking about, for a black man to donate when you're specifically talking about black men, that means that there's some sort of agreement amongst us as brothers, right? And we know that. We know that. The world knows that. And the world is starting to echo the same sentiment. So stand strong wherever you are, whoever you're with. Protect your loved ones, protect your family, protect yourself. I'll always echo to carry a firearm for your Second Amendment rights, but go to the gun range and learn how to use it proficiently in a self-defense situation. You'd be surprised at how weak your muscles become, how flaccid your body is when panic and adrenaline runs through it. It's fight or flight. And for a lot of people, most of the time it's going to be flight. Combat isn't natural to the human being. So you really need to take the time to learn your weapon. Something I haven't said on the stream before is you're going to need to start carrying, or I carry with one in the chamber. What does that mean? That means that when you go to pull your firearm, it's already ready to fire. There's no racking it or anything of that nature. If you're carrying a firearm and you haven't been doing that, then I would advise you to go ahead and switch to the method of carry that would enable you to be in the best position, because a lot of the times, guys, things happen fast. I saw a stat online that 21 feet of separation can be closed by an aggressor in 3 seconds. That means if somebody has a knife, 1, 2, right? They're coming, and they're not slowing down. You might be fortunate enough to see your attacker coming from a distance away. A lot of the times these situations happen, they just pop off. God forbid that you're standing somewhere and you just get attacked. God forbid you're witnessing somebody get attacked. You want to be in the best position possible to protect not just them, but not just yourself, but maybe the people that are getting attacked as well. It's our job as men specifically, right? If I see something going down and it's a woman getting hurt, we're going to have to start act first and ask questions later, right? Make sure that you neutralize or help the situation, because once again, every single individual incident is felt collectively. And that's why we're starting to feel and see truly and experience truly just where our leaders of previous generations past have led us, right? It's just the beginning. As things start to get a little bit more intense, as inflation starts to rise, we're going to feel a little bit more, right? Hopefully we start to change, and I see a bit of a change. Hopefully we start to change. If not, be the change that you want to see. Having said that, that's a lot of heavy stuff. Enjoy your day-to-day. It's a beautiful day-to-day. I want you to go out and do something that you haven't done before. Whatever that might be, go do something new. We're getting ready to roll into the new work week. and we're going to have a lot more to talk about. I love you so much. I truly do. Take care of yourself. You get one chance to dance, ladies and gentlemen. Don't take that lightly, okay? Don't take that lightly.